is up? It is your girl, EJ, the TV junkie, y'all. And we are here to talk about Diarra from Detroit, y'all. This was a good one. This is a BET Plus original. If you're not watching this, this is a murder mystery. And it just has a lot more substance to it than just the surface level of it. So I got my girls up here. We're about to talk about it. We're about to dive into what was going on with Diarra from Detroit. I guess since we're talking about a Detroit show, we're gonna have to be like Brillo and be like, what up though? I don't know why I love that, y'all. So anyway, y'all, let me see who is in the chat first. Hey, Inga Binga. Hey, Daria. Thank you guys for coming through. We appreciate you guys. All right, first up, y'all already know my girl, Miss Tika Deshawn, is in the building. Hey, boo.
What's up, EJ? What's good, everybody? What's up? What's up? Shout out to my Instagram fam over there. We're doing this thing, this live discussion on Diarra from Detroit, y'all. I'm here for it. I was here for it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. What's up, Queen? What's up, Dairy B? All right, now y'all already know my other girl, my sister from another mister. As soon as I get this down, okay, here we go. Miss Tamika's Den. What up, boo? How are you?
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm good.
Good, good, good. And my other sister, Miss Candy Love, is in the building. Hey,
What
boo.
up? What up? What up? What up, though?
I know. What up, though, right? I love it. I love it. When I first saw the trailer from Diarra from Detroit, I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about this. Hold on, I got an echo. Let me find it. Give me a second, okay? Let me make sure I got my other thing on. Does anybody else have the live on? Hold on, let me see if I got YouTube up. I don't think I do. Can y'all hear my echo? Hold on. We're going to find this echo. I'm like Jay right with this echo. Okay, let me take that one out. Hold on, let me... Y'all, hold on. Let me get these differences out the way. Let me mute that. Okay. Testing. Is it gone? No, it's still there. Well, I tell ya. Let me see. Okay, I got
If
one
you
more.
want to be a DJ, just say that.
Huh? If I want to be a who?
A DJ.
Girl, I don't know what it was. Is it
We're
gone?
here now.
Okay,
Yeah.
Here we go, y'all. Okay, what's up, Monique 69 Ways, girl? I probably got to see Monique 69 Ways, y'all. I was so excited about that today. All right, Avante, what is up? What is up? Okay, y'all. So Diarra from Detroit. When I first heard about this one, I was like, but it looked very intriguing, and I love a good murder mystery. So y'all know I'm down for everything BET Plus anyway. So I was definitely gonna give it a try. But then when I saw that trailer and I saw who was inside of the trailer, y'all, and when I saw this cast, I'm not gonna lie, I was here for it. We're talking Felicia Rashad, we're talking Maura Chestnut, a newcomer. She's played in some other stuff, but let me get this off the screen so y'all can see the people. She's played in some new stuff, and she's been around, but she's like really getting her, bigger break right now. And I'm loving her. When I tell y'all that I got this Issa Rae for y'all know I love me some Issa Rae. Issa Rae is like my favorite. Love me, Issa. But when I saw this, that was the initial feel that I got from it. It gave me an Issa Rae feel, but with her own spin, with her own personality, with her own quirkiness. So let me know what y'all thought about your initial reactions of the show. Tika, I'll start with you, and then we'll go around.
Listen, once I finally watched it, I was like, oh, we got some Black Nancy Drew type ish going on. She might seem a little cuckoo, but she doing her investigations and everything. So, I mean, I'm all about watching the Black Queen do their thing, whether it's writing, producing, directing, acting, whatever it is. I'm all for that. And when I, of course, just like you saw the lineup, I saw the lineup. I was like, that's the crazy mean dude from Have and Have Nots too. I'm like, oh my God, they do have an amazing lineup. So yeah, I was absolutely here for it all.
Okay. Miss Candelove, what about yourself?
When I was telling the ladies earlier when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, it's a drama. And then I said, oh no, when I watched, I said, oh, this is a comedy, this is a dramedy. So it kind of tricked me a little bit, but I'm enjoying it so much so far. I love the eye candy, the chocolate Morris chestnuts. Every time we get to see him, it's tasty. It looks tasty.
Okay, come through.
Mhm.
And last but certainly not least, Tamika, what are your thoughts? Initial thoughts.
Yeah, this was like a pleasant surprise for me. I did see the trailer, but y'all know how I always say I don't really get to watch stuff just to watch it. So it was one of those things where I was like, oh, I'll probably end up going and checking it out. Plus, I ain't got my, BET no more. So I figured I wasn't going to see it right away. But then when EJ was talking about it, I was like, okay, let me see. And I didn't really have any expectations. So it was kind of like, I didn't know which direction we was going to be going in. I was saying to Candy earlier, kind of reminded me, not as far as how the story is told, but just how it's comedy, drama, action, like average to it with, and they hit everything on point. Like it's good. I really liked it. I was enjoying it. I was cracking up at some stuff. I was like, wait, what's gonna happen with this, with some stuff? So yeah, I'm here for it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Listen, this cast, I thought this was a really dope cast. Morris Chestnut, for those of you who have not seen it yet, definitely check this out. I do have to warn you, this is a completely spoiler. We're going to be not fully recapping it step by step, but we're going to be talking a lot about these 3 episodes. This is going to be 8 episodes total. And I'm going to be back for every episode, and hopefully the ladies will join me every episode as well. But I really like this. It's more than just the surface level of this. If you really dive deep into what is going on, they touch a lot of stuff. And Tamika, I want to come to you because you always touch on a lot of mental health stuff. And we have a main character that is going through a complete and utter trauma in her life. We have the comedy, but we cannot overlook the fact that she's going through something that a lot of women have gone through. And we notice that this character is in a lot of denial, and and the way that she's doing things is a direct reflection of that. Kind of talk about how how you felt about it, what you thought about it. Just kind of touch on the mental aspect of it, the trauma aspect of it.
Yes, she's definitely an interesting character because we know that she's going through this divorce. But then, like when we first see her, she talking about she looking for this. I thought it was a little child or whatever. I didn't know who was missing, and I'm like, "Well, what are you doing? Why? Like, why are you out here? Why not the police?" I didn't know she's supposed to be a detective. So of course we start to find out more as the time is going on, but just right off the back and just her talking about, her and her husband and how she's about to be in the middle of this divorce. And, it seemed like she's kind of misunderstood. Like she want to be helpful. She want to, be involved into things. But at the same time, she kind of, maybe she's trying not to think about her own, and that's why she's trying to do so much, like with other things, to take her mind off of the things that she needs to be in her own life. So
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
Hey,
What up, Blaze? Thank you. I appreciate you. Definitely hit the like and share button. Thank you for coming through, brother. Derry B says, oh, she was talking to Lays. Hold on, I'm trying to read some of these comments, y'all. Okay, it looks like everybody's just speaking to each other. Yes, come in, speak to each other, say what up, though, to everybody. But yeah, so definitely. So as Tamika stated at the very beginning, we see her in this room, and she's in this room, she's climbing out of the window. But most importantly about this room, what we see is this story that's on television talking about this young boy named Deontay who was taken. And then we see blood splatter on the floor. We see a man. We can't quite see his face. We kind of see the side of his face. We know that he's an African-American man. That part we did know. And then we see, looks like something maybe, it looks like he's tied up maybe. And then we see her climbing out of this hole. We see a bunch of snow, and she's going over to a shed where there is a padlock on it. And she's saying something along the lines of how she wishes she had never came looking for this boy. That's how she says it. So that's how it opens up. And then we go back 1 month ago. So we're in the span of 1 month. Listen, y'all, when I tell y'all that I was so on my edge of my seat, just trying to figure out the next thing. I had so many questions. Who is this? Why was this? It just made you
Mm-hmm.
ask yourself all these things. Now, another one of our cast members that I want to talk about is the Felicia Rashad character. So there's a character in here who is Vonda, which happens to be the mother of this missing young man that we were talking about that's playing on the television. And I just want to say one thing. I love me some Felicia Rashad. She does such an amazing
Oh
job. No matter
yes.
what she plays in, she just always brings this life to her character. We'll get
Mm-hmm.
to her in a little bit, but I just really just wanted to say that. So, anywho, let's
Oh,
I'm
Renee
gonna
Beckham said that story on the TV was a real story in Detroit. Oh,
okay. And it is
okay.
very important to mention that Diarra Kilpatrick, her real name is Diarra Kilpatrick. She is the creator, writer of this. She is straight from the D. Um, and you can just feel out like if you ever just listen to some of her interviews, things like that, she's just such a ball of life, but she's so funny and she's so
Mm-hmm.
quirky. And I love that about seeing this real person. She also talks about how she made some of these characters all based off of some of the things or stuff that she was inside. Like some of her characters that she created, she took them from traits of her, and then she kind of built off of those things. And I think that that's really important because we have a lot of character development in this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want people to be so quick to look away from it because it's on BET Plus or something. I know some
Yeah.
people about that, but
Mm-hmm.
I would really love for people to just really watch this show and give it a chance because it just has a lot of different elements to it. So anyway, that's what I just had to say about that.
What's that?
So that's nice to know, Renee, that was a real story. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
look into it a little bit more, but I had a lot going on this weekend, so I got to go over the bases. But I feel like there's a lot more under the surface of this whole
Mm-hmm.
thing because of just the way that she talks about it. So anyway, y'all. So after we go back 1 month ago, as we talked about, she's going through a divorce, and that's kind of where we are. She's moved back in with her mom, and she decides to do, something to try to make herself feel better. She goes and she swipes. Is it swipe left or right, child? I don't know about this Tinder thing. She swiped. We just gonna say she swiped, and she found a match. Now, Candy, what did you think about Chris? What did you think about this match that she found?
I think he was handsome. That is the guy that she ended up going out with, right? Okay, I just want to
Mhm.
make sure because I'm bad with names half the time. He was handsome. She was asking him a whole lot of questions. It was kind of funny. It was, he's like, "Well, do I need to bring my tax return?" She's like, "Well, did you bring them?" So, I mean, he was very interesting as far as the little bit that I got to see of him. Um, and then, later on, things happen. But he was a very nice looking guy. I probably would have kept swiping, but
Okay, okay.
yeah, I
She said
think
that
he
one
worked for her for the moment.
Dairy B, explain a little more about do y'all think she's lying about what exactly? And
Yeah, I
I
saw
will
that
try to
question.
answer that. So yeah, so she meets Chris. Her and Chris have this connection. Tika, what did you think about that? The fact that they had this connection, the conversation that they're having, how they done skipped to the fifth date, third, fourth, fifth date, and and that's kind of where this whirlwind kind of starts.
Right. Okay. So let me, before I dive into the new relationship that she has found on Tinder, I do want to say that I like how they're showing her lack of sleep or her ability to not be able to get any rest. So if you notice in the beginning when she's climbing through that window, she's doing all these different motions, she's going to all these different places. The camera is continually moving and moving and moving, and that's really like representing, I forgot what they call it when you can't sleep, but it's
Insomnia.
Insomnia, thank you. It was on the tip of my tongue, but yeah, that represents her insomnia. So I really really love that they did that in that moment. Now, as far as Chris slash Deontay, he's sexy fine, and it is what it is. He was tempting. They kind of got to know each other, and at that moment, she just wanted to feel good. So she, hey, you want to feed the man? Okay, let's go eat. And then afterwards, okay, we're gonna just pretend like it's the third date after I've drilled you with all these different questions, and we're gonna move forward. Is that what we're doing now these days, though, y'all? On the third date, that's when we getting in, or is that
Well,
just
No, because I don't be dating, but I said he was all right. He was cute for what it was, but he wasn't messing with Mr. Francois. Okay, the husband, aka he have nothing on him.
right?
But I
No.
do understand. That's a good point you made with the insomnia. I know how she feels with that because I suffer with real bad insomnia. I tell y'all that all the time. So yeah, that's something else that she have to deal with. Her mind is always going and she can't sleep. It's been a certain amount of hours. And after a while, you do get delirious when you haven't slept for a certain amount of time too.
Yeah,
yes,
she's got her
yes.
sleep. She's micro sleeping, like she had
Yes.
micro doses of. And I'm like,
Mhm.
child, I see you, you see me. That like, ooh, child, that's me.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of
Yeah.
myself in this character. No, no lie.
Yeah.
Like she's got a
Yep.
lot going on, trying to keep herself busy, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. Yeah,
And I think that that's a really good point to make, Candy, is that I think that people are going to be able to see bits and pieces of themselves that they may not even really, like you may not tap into it just at that moment, but you're like, dang, that's kind of me. And I think that that was her whole point. The creator's point was to take bits and pieces and put them into all of these different characters and put them in these different places so that the characters could really develop. And so you could get a connection to them. So I really enjoy that. Hey Momo, what up, boo? Hey
hello.
Ashley, thank you for coming through. And Ashley, we're gonna have to talk. I saw you were doing this show as well, so definitely if you want to come up and join us, you are more than welcome to. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, she said the mama. Do we think that she's lying? I personally don't think that the mother is lying. I think that the mother was. I think that people misjudged her,
Mhm.
and we find out why in the third episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
mama off
Yeah,
a chain.
yeah,
Mhm.
I like Mama. Yeah, Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, Constable, come on now.
Definitely.
Another
But
thing that I
no.
wanted to point out real quick that I really enjoyed about this first episode, and then we're gonna kind of travel into we're gonna talk about what happened at the end, and so that we can go into kind of episode 2, because I want to focus on episode 3 a lot, because I feel like we got a lot out of episode 3. But I did want to say that I think they did such an amazing job about really pointing out some of the struggles that go on in inner city schools. That was something that they didn't have to stress a lot, that they could have left out, but I think it brought so much to the story and it brought so much to this character,
Mhm.
just really focusing on that and showing what was going on. And when she has that clarity moment, when she realizes what she missed, it just goes to show that it makes you fall in love with this character. Like,
Mhm.
really, you get connected to this character right from the very beginning because you just want to see her win. Like,
Yeah,
no matter, you just want to see her win. You want to see her be happy. You want to see her get through this. But I loved how she taught, how she connected with the kids. And even though nobody else wanted her to do that, they called her Miss Captain Extra.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Still did it, and she still had a connection that those kids are going to remember. And to me, that's real life. When you have those type of teachers, those are the teachers that you want, you
yeah,
know.
Mhm.
yeah.
Absolutely.
The
So
ones that care.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. All right. So okay. So we talked about the date and how we got to, all of this. And we realized that, oh, so I got one trivia question for you. Hold on. Let me see if I can find my trivia question.
Oh Lord.
Yeah,
Dallas, go send that
gotta have my
to
trivia. I didn't want to do so you think you're a TV junkie today, but I was like, I'm gonna still do a question or two. They was just kind of coming at me. Y'all should get this one. It says, what did she change his name to in her phone? And you can say it out loud.
Ambien. He put that to sleep.
her.
Absolutely. She said he was Ambien. And we noticed that the character really is wrapped, she's like really wrapped up in like Chris. She's liking
Mhm.
Chris. She's already ready to go on this second date with him. Well, technically fourth date. She's already ready to go on this date with him. She's going to her friend. We're meeting Aja. And Aja is another dope character that I really like and that I'm pretty sure people see some similarities in themselves in her as well, because she's another character that is well developed as well. I really like her. She's an interesting character and I love the friendship. And we're also going to talk about Moni and her friendship too, but I want to talk about that one a little bit later. So as she's talking about him, yada, 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 we're going to see that, Chris isn't going to show up to this date. And I got one more question for y'all before we move past that. Does anybody remember what the 4 text was that Diarra sent to Chris? She sends him 4 texts. Anybody can say the ones that they think when he doesn't show up.
She was like, what did she? Oh my God! Because I literally laughed through the whole every time because I've been that person. Like basically, I know you see me texting you. Like she was going all in. Oh yeah, CPT was definitely one. That was the
Okay.
first one.
Okay, my sweet perspective. Okay, yep. She
Did
shows
she
this.
say, Ninja, was you serious? Did she say, Ninja, are you serious?
I think she did. To be honest with you, I don't remember. She was like, "Are you okay?" She was being nice in the
Mhm.
beginning, and I've been in this position before. But after a while, I want to reach through the TV and grab the phone from her. Like, girl, she call it, text it.
Listen,
I was
my
like,
sweet
don't bother
perspective got it
anymore.
all down. My sweet perspective, actually, she has it all down, y'all. She got it
Sure
all
does.
down.
Yep.
Uh,
This is
like
exactly what she
ninja.
said. She said, CPT, everything okay? And then
Yeah.
that, okay, hello, what the really, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you
Yeah.
can tell that
The
the anger
typical
is
text.
escalating. Like that
The,
ain't like that feeling
Yes.
of what the
Yes.
heck is just is going up. You know how we I would say y'all know how y'all be doing with them texts.
how we do.
Child, listen.
I have done that. I ain't gonna even
How
lie.
we
I have
do.
done
I
that.
don't care who it is.
I know I have. And you just wish that you had that feature that they got now, delete feature, because you're like, oh,
Right.
I just want to delete that.
I was
I don't
like,
care who
girl,
it is. It
leave
could be
it
my son.
alone.
It could be my sister. I don't care who it is. Where you at? I mean, like, come on now. What's going
I
Okay.
said
on?
you only known him for 2 seconds, sis.
Yeah.
Girl, that's
he,
ambient.
he
That's
The
made
answer
a
ambient.
good
was she
impact
developed
on
a
her because
person.
she was really like she went through every emotion.
Okay. Definitely.
I
Oh,
think
I
I'm having
forgot
hot
to
flashes,
mention
y'all. I
earlier,
ain't joking.
guys, that Kenya Barris also executive produces that. I do not want to miss that because I feel like that's important because I like a lot of Kenya Barris's stuff. And I knew when I saw this, I was like, it kind you know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of tell when certain people are involved in certain things. But I don't know. I really like this, but I forgot to mention that earlier and it
Read
just
Derry
popped up in my
text.
notes.
Comment.
Oh, hold on. Let me go to it. Give me 1 second. Somebody invent an app. I know, right? Somebody do need to invent an app to make us stop. Like if I say something crazy, just automatically, like it needs to have like some built-in things that makes it automatically happen.
You know how
Like
the
don't
buggies
do
will
it,
let you go
girl.
out, take the buggy out the store. You know how
Okay,
the
or
buggy
it
let the
start
buggy
talking
out.
to you and be like, "Don't do it, girl. Don't do it." Like Siri,
Right.
You need
pops
to
up like,
vibrate.
"Don't do
You
it."
need to vibrate.
Are you sure you want to send this message?
Right.
You know how you take a buggy out the store and they won't let the buggy go out and it stop? That's how that text should be.
Okay, that's how I need to go down.
Oh, Lordy.
Okay, that's what's up. Okay, y'all. So after all of that happens, she is struggling with the fact that he has ghosted her. Like everybody else around her is like, girl, he done ghosted you. But she just doesn't believe it. She believes that this connection is bigger than what they talking about. So let's kind of we're gonna talk about the very end of it, and then we're gonna move into episode 2. So at the very end of this episode, we actually get to see what happened to Chris. And we also see that, she's not that crazy after all. So Tamika, talk to us
Right.
about what happened to Chris at the very end as they enlighten us.
Yeah, because when everybody was trying to tell her, I was like, yeah, girl, hang it up. I mean, even the damn kids is like, girl, you got ghosted. Hang it up, turn it loose. So then when we see this happening with him getting grabbed, I'm like, oh, shoot, okay. She actually is right. Because she was like, no, I'm worried about him. I think something, actually happened. Because we just was robbing. The connection was there. Y'all didn't see what I saw. Y'all didn't feel what I felt. And I was like, okay, she was on point. And I mean, we do have to trust our gut instinct. So her gut instinct was definitely on point with this one. Child, nothing left behind but the damn sneaker. I was like,
Okay.
oh.
Because she was like, nobody leaves a Jordan on the street.
Right.
That
So
part. And
then I
I was
was
looking
like,
at
well,
the
who the
other
hell
day, and I was
is
like,
these people? Why did they take him?
right.
Yeah.
absolutely. I think that was my biggest question at this point. Like, what in
Mm-hmm.
the world is going on? Who the heck took Chris and why? Like, those
Mm-hmm.
are the main questions that's kind of going through my head. So let's move into episode 2, guys. As we move into episode 2, it feels like our friends, our friends always want to step in. They want to help us. They don't want to see us hurt. And that's kind of what we start to see in this episode. We see an Asia trying to help her friend, but we also see a detective sleuth as well. This is when the detective part of her starts to really start to, she really starts to go. So, hold on, let me see. Hold on, let me see what my pictures are.
We don't want to see no Viennas.
No peak Airplex.
No.
I know, right?
You're being gracious with the
Or was that a
eggplant.
squash? A mini squash.
Vienna.
Right.
Okay, hold on. Let me see where we're at. Okay, hold on. I was trying to get past the part. I'm like, hold on, wait a second. What is we showing here? What is going on? Okay, so Diarra decides that she's actually going to hold on. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Give me 1 second, y'all, because we've looked at all of these episodes, and a lot of things go hand in hand. And I don't think that was the episode. I think the next episode is
We
where
definitely
they
should address her going in and talking that talk about running the streets, telling my business. She told Danger,
Yes,
my
yes,
business,
Oh,
my
that
name,
part
your
was
house,
hilarious.
smash,
yes.
smash
so funny.
fresh tape.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we got to
That
talk about the
was
friend
so
too.
funny. So we're gonna talk about Moni here in just a second, and we're gonna talk about Moni. And Moni is the childhood friend that right from the jump, you're like, dang, they got some issues, they got some deep-seated stuff going on with them. We don't know exactly what it is, but you can feel something going on with them. And I also like how Moni has her own story going on as well. So the character Moni they're gonna have a moment, and she's just basically gonna go off on her, telling her, like, look, that's why Danger said that your house is dirty and that you this, that. I mean, she just says all these things, right? And your girl has to go over there and check him. And that was right before she swiped left. So that was
Mhm.
before she swiped on Chris. She went over to Danger's house and she just gave it what she had. She gave it all she got. And I didn't talk about Danger because I was going to talk about him as a whole, but let's just go ahead and talk about him now because in the first episode, Danger tries to rob the house, y'all. What did y'all think about Danger trying to rob the house? It was
That
funny.
was so crazy. That was weird. His cough gave him away. I'm like, okay, he has a deep what's that cough he have? People who is Bob for? Somebody please get this troll out the chat.
I think you don't you got the I gotta make
This
another.
yours?
I got it.
Okay, yeah.
I got it.
But okay, I don't know if I need to say that.
So just go ahead.
Okay, Becky had a lot of them last night, so maybe it's just something about this format. Um, his cough gave him away, and when she turned around, she was like, "Danger," and he was like, "Diarra." I mean, and then like she said, she forgave him. She let it go. She cleared it out. Whatever. They ended up eating cake, and then his stepson was in there with him too. They just talking and chopping it up, and of course they get into discussion where she starts rambling on about her life and whatnot, and then they looking around the kitchen and see all these empty containers, and I'm like, dang, Diarra, you really going through it. And I get it, but when he goes to tell her business, I was like, you violated big time because she could have sent you know what to jail. Like you didn't have to do all that.
Okay,
Yeah, his
that
cough
part, but
gave
yeah,
him away.
she knocks over that doggone fish tank. She hit it hard. Knocked the fish over, and that was one of my favorite parts when she's like, "Is anybody get the fish?"
Right.
I was like,
Right.
so I thought that that was really funny, and that was another one of those comedic moments. They do very well at balancing the comedy, the
Yes,
drama, the
Yeah.
mystery. It's such
absolutely.
a good balance.
Yeah, all of it was hilarious to me. I'm like, so he robbing a house that he knows, and then the
Mhm.
person recognizes him. We gonna sit down and eat and talk, and then you gonna go tell everybody. But you know that's how it is in the neighborhood. Everybody gonna talk about everybody. And then the fact
Mhm.
that she came in and was like, "Excuse me," I think one of the guys was her student. They were like, "Wait a minute, you recognize me?" And she was like, "Move out the way," and then you just go break the damn. He was like, "I'm gonna let you have this one, but you ain't gonna get a chance again."
Yeah, because he said
Okay.
somebody be at the door. Like, who does? Well,
Yeah.
Right.
maybe they do that. But somebody
They were
be
just
at the door.
rude.
Like, what? You bound to get
Okay.
unalive right about now.
Yeah, just
All right.
rude from the beginning.
Doing
Mm-hmm.
way too much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. So, in the okay, so let's talk about Moni's storyline, and then we'll come back. I just don't want to keep it on that one screenshot. I'm just gonna move it to this other screenshot. So when we see Moni in her regular life, we're gonna see her and her husband Roman. What up, One Journey? We're gonna see her and her husband Roman together, and they're doing the typical things that married people do, what grown people do, and they're having conversations about their kids and life and what is supposed to happen, and all that stuff. And I feel like this is the episode where we get to see more of Moni and the issues that's going on with her and her husband Romy. Why I want to call him Romy? I was about to say Remy, y'all, but
Oh
it
my
was
goodness.
don't know why they both Detroit, but well, I guess that's technically Atlanta. But anyway, never mind. So we get to see a lot of the issues that's going on with these two as well, which I know the common theme. I am pretty sure that this comes right back that somebody can relate to what the heck she has going on. And I'm going to talk about the divorce party because I feel like this is where this character really, really shines because we get to see the contrast of all these single people and then what she says and how she handles things. But what did you guys think about Moni? What was your first impressions about her and anything that stood out to her about her in this particular episode? And it doesn't matter what you talk about it, anything that happened in this episode. Tika, you can start, then Tamika, then Kendi.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I actually like the character of Moni, but when we're introduced to Moni, we see her and Diarra arguing, like going back and forth, like as if they were enemies. But of course, we find out later on that they were actually friends. But I just like the back and forth with her and that her character and Daria. Um, she's a true friend, even though they have their moments. We'll see that she proves to be a true friend. But when it comes to the divorce party, she's like, "Oh, cool. So I didn't get an invite. Like, what's up? Like, she and she knows because she hear the music. Oh, not just the music, but she sees that there are cars blocking her house or her apartment or house, whatever they're living in. She sees that there are cars blocking it, and now she's got to be nosy and go see what's going on. So I love how she injected herself into that whole party. Like she wanted her hot Cheetos, and she got her hot Cheetos. So I was here for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tamika, what'd you think about Moni?
Yeah, you wasn't really too sure. Like, is this a frenemy? Is this an enemy? Is it like we used to be friends, but time went on, and then I think that Zaria kind of has a perception of like how other people relationships are or other people lives are going. The grass is green on the other side. Like you and your relationship was good, whereas I'm over here getting a divorce and going through these different things, not knowing the whole time that you know she got her own stuff that's going on too. Nobody's life is perfect. We all have our different things that we dealing with. So for me, I think it was more like about them just being able to see each other as they are now and also have some of the memories come up that show us where they started at.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, absolutely. Candy Love, what did you think about Moni? What was your first impressions about Moni and anything about her in this episode that stood
I'm
out to
over,
you?
I'm over here doing the Lord's work. I'm
I know,
sorry.
girl. Thank you.
VKJ had me working hard last night on his channel. I said I need a paycheck. Um, oh, he back again.
No, just go ahead and talk. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, you know that took
Don't
my
I
nerves
mean,
up.
go ahead.
Okay, so I liked her when I first. Well, I'm not gonna say I liked her, but of course they arguing and carrying on, and she's talking about don't play the cursing music, but you sitting there cursing in front of your child, and then you gonna talk to Diarra talking about something you can't get in the effing house, but Diarra's like you don't cuss though. I'm like y'all outside acting crazy, like. But I mean, I enjoyed it because it was just like true, genuine friends or frenemies that haven't seen each other in a long time, and that's just how they go respond to each other for whatever reason. Because she was listening to Eminem, so he had a lot of cursing and carrying on, but she was cursing steady, cursing in front of her kid. However, when we found out see her later on, I did enjoy their dynamic and how we saw them together and how they interacted and how they had each other's back through their whole from what we've seen thus far. I enjoyed it. I like her. I really do. She kind of remind me of Akbar V. I think she kind of remind me of put me in the mind of her. But yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
that was funny too. How Daria was like, "You the one that taught me how to curse."
Right. And I like how they see them
I'm
going back and
sorry.
being in the car together as kids. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was so funny when she comes out. She's getting out of the car. She drops the wine bottle, and her husband, and they're all over there playing in the snow. And because this is after she done got in trouble because of the rule. And she's over there. She's doing the rap music. She's rapping and stuff. And then she gets out the car and she says something, and she's like, "I'm sorry." I was like,
So
"Oh,
aggressive.
God, too funny." It was so funny, and then her husband's like, "You need to go talk to her," and then
Right.
trying to give her like, "You just gotta do like J Lo do, just get finer and finer." I'm like, "Girl," she like, I know in her mind she like, "I wish she'd get the hell away from here with this doggone advice. This is not the place."
Because then she said, I think she get divorced just to get finer.
Yeah, that's what she said. Okay, y'all. So there's going to be a point where she decides, like, hey, okay, I'm going to go to the police station and tell, what's going on that that um she wanted them to look into this whole situation, right? She wanted them to look into it. Although she doesn't have a lot of information yet, she wants them to look into it. And it starts to sound crazier and crazier, right? As she's telling the detective about the Tinder date and about the connection. And he's just like, and all of this stuff. And this is after she has done her whole investigation herself. Now, it's important to talk about. Hold on, I'm trying to make sure I didn't jump pictures. Okay, because I want to say this is after she's done the investigation herself, and her and Moni have went over to what's his name? Y'all give me his name, Chris. They have went over to Chris's house at this point, and they found this guy in the closet, which was crazy. What's up, Latoya? And they found the guy in the closet, and so now she feels like, okay, I got to go tell somebody, and she goes to the right people, right? In theory, that's who you're supposed to go to, but they really just not trying to hear her. What did y'all think about this whole guy in the closet? What were your first thoughts about it? Because I'm gonna tell you, I was like, there is no way in the world that I would have untied him. Tika, what about you? Oh, we can't hear you.
My apologies, y'all. Yeah, I was trying to get rid of that, but I'm almost done. But we don't know who this guy is, so he just would have been left tied up. Like he would have been on his own at that moment because literally, first of all, why was he naked? Like that's my question. Like, what do you have going on now? We're gonna see later on how he ended up tied up, but I didn't understand the whole why was he naked. So yeah, he was just he at that point I wouldn't he would have just been left tied up for me.
Okay. That part. Definitely. So any make sure y'all checking y'all pages and make sure to please delete anything that is not becoming of what YouTube says should be. So anyway, yeah, I thought that that was completely hilarious of her untying him. I was like, girl, you is crazy. What is you doing? Like, do not untie him. But at this point, we
Yeah.
start to realize that there's really something that's really, really going on in this. And I kind of love how they go back and tell us what we need to know quickly instead of like years, you know what I'm saying? Like way later, like how they go back and they give us the answer of how he actually, how he was sitting, you know, how he was in there, how he got tied up. I thought that that was interesting. So, yeah. So, so anyway, y'all. Let me see where we're at. So he's not paying her any attention. He's basically just making fun of her with this whole situation, and she's gonna have to pretty much figure this out herself. We're also going to meet Swa's brother, y'all, and they're like night and day. I'm sorry, they don't look nothing alike. His wife and his brother. But she talks about how he's going to go back and tell. But what I wanted to hone in on was this. Did anybody have any thoughts about this? When she walks by, she gets on the phone and starts to call someone. What do you think? Like, what y'all think about? I really don't know. This is the one answer we haven't gotten yet.
I was like, who is she calling? But then I guess later on I think that I kind of know who it was that she was calling, but I'm like out of the blue, she on the phone like, and it's the mention of Deontay, it's the mention of this person being missing. So I personally, if I can move a little bit forward, I think she was calling the mother, Vonda, Vondi.
Mhm.
I think that's who I think. I could be absolutely wrong, and I guess later on we'll see what this cop's connection is to Deontay and his family. But that's who I think she was reaching out to.
Okay, okay. That is a what's up. That is what's up. Anybody else got any idea of who you think she might have been reaching out to?
No, I have no idea who she was talking to. No clue. Mm-mm.
Okay.
You, Tamika?
Sorry, I was typing. I apologize.
No problem.
Tamika, anything else? Do you got any?
No, I wasn't too sure who she was calling. I definitely feel like she was in the right place as far as the police. I would have called them when we were still in the apartment with the daggone guy. I wouldn't have been, like you said, unloosening nothing, talking about nothing. They would have been called then. Of course, this story does sound crazy. And, of course, with this being his daggone brother, you already know he was going to end up finding out about it and being able to use that as an excuse to come see her and find out what's going on. Because he probably thinking that is more about her wanting to kind of get his attention that she's even coming in there to the daggone station in the first place. But I didn't know who she was calling.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I think we'll probably figure this one out a little bit later. But I feel like it definitely has something to do with something. And the fact that that they picked up on this so quickly, you know what I'm saying? Like, because she hasn't really given a lot of clues, you know what I'm saying? Like, as
Mm-hmm.
to exactly what is going on, but somehow whatever she said has gotten this officer's attention. So I'm ready to
Yeah.
see how it's gonna all play out. So the necklace that was left behind, there was like a little necklace and it had like this writing on it. And so now she's trying to figure out exactly where in the world, what is it, who is it, all of this stuff. And it kind of just takes her on this trip. You know what I'm saying? And let's talk about SWA real quick. What was y'all feel like? I felt like best man Morris Chestnut. You remember the first time you saw Morris Chestnut? I'm not talking about Ricky. The first time you saw Morris Chestnut and
Grown.
when he walked in on the best man, that's what I felt like when I saw this right here. Did anybody else get that nostalgia?
Yes, it was grown. It was sexy. I love me some chocolate now.
Listen,
Yes.
I've been loving
Whew.
Morris Chestnut ever since Boys in the Hood when he laid back in that towel and they was playing Just Me and You. That was my husband from that point forward.
Okay.
Yes, he is
That
forever
part.
fine. He does not age at
Hmm.
all.
She was trying to
Okay.
play it cool, but I would have been melting too.
Okay,
Hmm.
Francois.
Absolutely. Swa. I was like, okay, with the name. We come
Right.
through with this name. So anyway, y'all, Francois, we learned a little bit of details here. We learned that, they don't communicate. I'll say that. I'm gonna say they because we don't have a whole lot of information, but she clearly was not communicating with him about some stuff and she just left, when he brings up this open marriage and he's like, you should have just said that, so there's definitely a lot of room here for this particular story, and I think we're going to get it. I think we're going
Mhm.
to get a lot more of what actually all kind of went on with them because it does all tie together. But I love this part. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. But that AMX bill, bro, you would have had to keep that bill at the
Does
end
it
of the
seem like they're
day.
not having like good communication? That there's just no communication at all. Like the communication just fell flat with them in their relationship. Does it seem that way?
Oh yeah, you can tell that there's definitely something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely
They
no
seem like they
communication.
on two different pages of what exactly happened, why they're at the place that they're at right now. She has things, at least that's the way they making it seem so far, that she's assuming about him that he's saying is not true. And at the same time, it's like, well, if you had a problem with this, we'll speak for now or for a piece. You didn't say anything about it. So definitely communication issues.
Yeah,
I
Derry says because they don't have any children. Okay. Yeah.
I think there's just like a lot of stuff going on, and I think that we're gonna start to see where it kind of all flows because we've already seen a few things. The thing where you can kind of tell like things kind of revolve around Swa. I mean, his money, his this, his that. He even says when they ask her about what she does, he answers for her. That's a
Right.
clear telling
Yes.
I
sign.
was
Like that is a
like,
very strong
Mhm.
sign when
yes.
someone else answers for you and she kind of just smiles and he
Hmm.
dresses it up so nice that a lot of people would have took that as, oh, that's so sweet, but no, that's not that is a very telling sign about their relationship
Yeah.
and how he felt he had to manage that answer and how he had to say it. So
She
that's
doesn't
where
have a
I was
voice.
at with that. I don't
Yeah,
know,
she doesn't have a
anybody
voice in
else?
the relationship.
Go ahead.
I said she doesn't have a voice in the relationship because she can't even answer a simple question like that. Like, what does she do? I make all the money and she makes the sacrifices, or something. He said, I'm like, sir,
She gives us all
that,
the good karma. And while
yeah,
that was a beautiful thing to say, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that
hmm,
that wasn't a beautiful thing to say. That is a pure sign of someone who has some controlling tendencies.
yes,
When they say things like this and they sound so nice, everybody at that table probably thought, "Oh my gosh, he's so sweet and he's so this," but it really gave some. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
narcissist,
sure people can relate to
controlling.
that.
Like, sir, let her talk. You know, that could be
Yeah,
a response to something, but that shouldn't be the answer. You know, like no,
Yeah,
yeah,
and notice she didn't say anything at
mm-mm,
all. She just smiled.
hmm,
That was it.
probably
So,
crying on the inside.
so they got some stuff going on. Okay, so anywho, they have their little conversation, but let's talk about these divorce parties because what we're gonna notice is that Aja decides she's gonna throw her friend a divorce party because she like all this, trying to go out and solve mystery. We're not gonna do that. Like they basically want her to accept what's going on. What did y'all think about this divorce party? What did y'all think about the first divorce party? Because we got all these people and they giving advice. I'll give you my opinion first. Felt like it was a good gesture, and I love seeing this side of it, and I love seeing people connect and trying to really be there for her. And Tika, what'd you think?
I mean, it was cool that they did that. They wanted to, let her know that she's still worthy. It was a divorce party, but I like the second divorce party a little bit better. But but that's what friends are supposed to do. They're supposed to be there for that girl. they did their part as friends, associates, whoever they were in her life. They did their part. So you know,
Absolutely, absolutely. Candy, what did you think about the first divorce party?
Mm.
And I mean, you can talk about any part of the divorce party. If there was anything that stood out to you, favorite lines, people, any of that.
I'm not a fan of divorce parties. I mean, like, I could see if it was celebrating because it was like a tumultuous something, but like, what is the reason for divorcing? But I don't, I don't see I don't like divorce parties. Even when they did them on reality TV, I didn't like it. So I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Gotcha. You know what I felt about this divorce party? It didn't feel like it was a divorce party of a let's celebrate. It was almost like a "we got you" type of situation. That's how I saw it. It didn't feel like a celebration. It just felt like a "we got you. We understand where you're at, and you're gonna get through this, and you're gonna get on the other side of it." And that's the only reason why I liked it, because I never want to see anybody go through that, unless they want to be divorced. I mean, if there's a reason why they need to be divorced, that's completely different. But you know what I'm saying? She wasn't in that space of where she wanted. You could tell that she didn't
Right,
really want
right.
to be divorced. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like she wasn't
Yeah,
there,
yeah, she
and it
didn't.
was
Yeah.
hurtful for her. Tamika,
Yeah, that's how I took it. I took it more of them just trying to let her know they have her back. It was good intentions behind it, but I think the second one was better as well. I agree with Tika there. But at the end of the day, I just feel like they just wanted her to know, like, you're going to be okay regardless of what's going on, or what
absolutely,
happens. That's more so how I looked at it.
absolutely. That's exactly where I took it as well. So at this particular divorce party, Moni is going to show up as well. And when Moni shows up, she kind of brings a different aspect of it as well. She's speaking from the aspect of like she's talking about her husband and how she's going to wait for him to tell her. And we all know that Moni's going through something in her own relationship as well. But isn't it's always interesting that there's always that person who presents this thing like their marriage is like just I'm not saying that she's saying it was completely just great, but we know that all marriages have some underlying issues in them somewhere. Like there's always, everybody has their thing, and it doesn't always have to be
Hmm.
bad. It just they just have their thing, it's life or whatnot. But as Moni is talking, she makes it seem like she kind of has the answers, but we all know we're starting to see that that is really not the case of what's really happening with Moni, that there really is something more going on. So anyway, I like that one. But let's move on to the second divorce party, because the second divorce party is where it was at, where it was lit. Like we popping Molly, we doing all of this extra stuff. So she eventually finds out that that symbol has had something to do with the dominatrix, the BDSM, and all that type of stuff. And she finds her way to this party. And she gives a little coin. They let her in, and now we into some BDSM stuff. And I feel like, what we're really seeing is her just being like, okay, I'm gonna let my hair down. I'm gonna really just let go of all of this. It was a different release. You got the one where your girls are telling you that they got your back, but it's still kind of sad. You know what I'm saying? But you go to this one and you get to just forget about everything. She's dancing. I mean, she is on this Molly, like she is gone. But she finds the Russian guy there, y'all. She finds the Russian guy there. And this whole interaction was so interesting to me. Tamika, kind of talk about just this entire scene. Anything that stood out to you, anything that really pushed the story for you, or anything that you found like, dang, this happened, so you can talk about any aspect of it.
It was a lot of funny parts in this part for me. Like when her friend, what was his name?
T,
Went
Mr.
in
T.
and Mr. T, and as soon as he got in near the DJ and him eyes, and he's like over here giving. I was like, okay. And then her too, like you said, she let loose a lot more, and it was kind of a 2 for 1. Like she was enjoying herself, but she also was trying to find out this info and make the Russian guy more comfortable and feel like he could open up to her. And they both trying to figure out what the other one got going on. And then it's like, whoa, you into getting spanked and having all this other. And she just was like, I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah, give me the Molly. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna shake it up. So I enjoyed that part, and it was like, I'm being a detective, but at the same time, I'm having fun too and cutting up.
Yeah, she was working on the job
Yes.
and having fun. Like she was just doing a whole lot at the same time.
Yeah, and she went to see Miss Hot Sauce. I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. But that's what it was. That's what that whole limelight, or that particular BDSM life is about. And she literally experienced it from the front door all the way to that back room. But I'm like, girl, don't be popping pills from random dudes. Like, you know this dude is
Right.
different.
Because I
Or
was a little
please,
nervous for her at the
yeah,
same time.
yeah, I'm like, girl, don't be popping stuff from strangers. But she was like, he kept saying, it's just, it's just Molly, whatever. Okay. So she popped the pills and then it all went down, literally. I'm like, but when did she have time to get painted and put the new little outfit on? Because she was glowing in the dark and just dancing and, having a good time. Like, I was here for that scene. I appreciate how they allowed it to play out all the way, even up until the point where we see the dude get popped. So I enjoyed how they played that whole thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was definitely not expecting that. I had a feeling that it wasn't going to keep going good for too long. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely was nervous. Like, is they going to end up, slipping her something else? Is she going to end up getting snatched up where they like, you asking too many questions? And, it was like, you ain't know which way it was going to go, but definitely was interesting to
Absolutely.
see it play out.
Okay,
Oh,
Matthew.
EJ.
Okay, Matt. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Definitely check it out. Good night to you as well.
EJ.
But yeah, I mean, I was kind of scared for her, y'all. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what's gonna happen. But Candy, let's talk about this part where right up into the part where we realize that the Russian guy knows that this Chris guy is Deontay. Now, I'm gonna backtrack for just a whole second because we're covering 3 episodes. I'm clearly leaving some things out. Um, but when we start to talk about the next one as they go, and y'all know how they like to drop all those episodes at one time, but there is a moment where we realize that Chris is actually Deontay, and Deontay is the young boy that was on the television screen that they said went missing. Okay, and when she's with the Russian guy, he asks about Deontay. He knows that this is Deontay, and he's pointing the blicky at her. And then somebody comes in and offs him. Y'all, I was like, what the heck? Who just offed him? I have no clue. I don't even have any thoughts at this point. And I'm telling you, I love a good murder mystery, and I like it when I just don't know yet. I don't feel like they've
Mm-hmm.
dropped the right breadcrumb yet, unless it was the police officer. And that was my only thought. But I was like, is she following her? Does she know? Like, that's the only one that I got. Do y'all have any?
Yeah, I have no idea who came
Mm-mm.
in and snap, crackle, and popped him, but I was glad because I was nervous for her. He had that blicky pointed at her, and then he
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that name Deontay, so I was thinking he was getting ready to do something to her. So I mean, bye. You won't be in episode 4 or 5. So
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
sat
I
up
was.
straight and was paying attention. Like, they definitely had me like, whoa, what's going on here? At the same time, happy that she's okay and she wasn't the
Mm-hmm.
one that got popped.
right.
And I was like, well, you ain't gonna be getting no more answers out of him, that's for sure. And he also can't do anything to you. But even finding out that Chris was Deontay, it was like, that mama. I was like, oh shoot. And then her putting the two and two together, because I like how she kind of get the flashes when she's piecing the things and remembering stuff, and it's like she told him his eyes look familiar to her, and he's
Mhm.
like, yeah, because you see me already on the other day, but no, it's from the poster that she's always
Yeah.
looking at and seeing. So I like how all of that comes together.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
EJ. So earlier you asked me what I want to do for my birthday. I want to go to a party like that. You want to go?
Girl, I'm trying to stay married.
Ooh-wee.
I'm joking.
She's serious.
I don't know if my husband gonna be down for me being at no BDSM parties. Shit, I
He
don't know.
have to be. They have to be there with us because they ain't gonna go in there
Child.
and then popping no mileage. Oh no.
Girl. I don't even know.
Listen, real quick, just real quick. Thank you, Bajolin, over on Instagram for tapping in with us. We know her as Elder Mother from Ruthless, so thank you for tapping in and checking out Diarra, this live discussion. Yes, it does include spoilers, but I do appreciate you for hanging with us for a few. Definitely go check it out. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed at all.
Yes, ma'am,
Hey,
Elder Mother.
Mama Clot.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Bajolin. You're gonna like it. Definitely go check
We
it out.
love you, girl.
So I love Mr. T, y'all. Mr. T is like one of those, you know how I always be like, who is that character that I always be like, you need one of them in your life? A Tommy. When I always be like, you need you a Tommy in your life, you need you a Mr. T in your life too. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Mr. T is the friend that you absolutely 100% need because he keeps it real. There was a moment on one of the episodes where he said something that is so real, and I love what he said to her when because he's trying to get her back into reality before we realize that she really is on to something. But he told her, like, I may be gay, but I'm still you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
I'm still
he
that
said that
ninja.
You still a ninja at the end of the day.
exactly.
Right.
Like he
That don't
trying to
change
just
a
keep it
doggone
real with
thing.
her and
That don't
just
Yes.
change
tell her.
nothing.
So I love that. I love their relationship. I love their friendship. But right here, our girl done got traumatized, y'all. Like, she is straight traumatized, and you can see it. And it's just gonna keep going from here. I don't know about rando dude in the back going live. He doing too much. Hey Daria, I don't know what he doing, but anyway, this is where we're gonna get a flashback of our character Deontay, and I love this too, like how you were saying how they go back and they connect her thoughts, and we get to see it, and we visually get to see it. It's something about visually seeing these things that really brings the story together. But they're gonna go back and they're gonna show us Tay Tay when he was young. Yeah, I done gave him a name, y'all. They're gonna go back and show us Tay Tay when he was younger. And I know the reason why they do this because we're about to go into episode 3, y'all. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to try to wrap it up. But it's talking about 3 episodes is a lot. But so we see Miss Vonda as a young woman back in 1995, and they're showing the moments that the news story kind of played out of what happened when Deontay went missing. We see they're going from store to store, typical mall run, samples and all this type of stuff. And she's going to be sitting and eating, and you're going to hear the news lady say, you waited 23 minutes. 23 minutes before you said anything. And they kind of just play this on the news. They show the little black and white screen and all that type of stuff. And that's kind of where we kind of end on this episode. They're introducing us to the next person that we're about to pop into. And I love that format too. I was like, okay. So yeah, let's move to the next episode, and let's really dive into Miss Vonda and really dive into the story, since now we have so much more of the story. It doesn't really matter where y'all go with it in this particular part of it, because it all plays in together. But I do want to start with Miss Vonda in this first story of her back in the day. What were y'all thoughts about what was going on? Did you first think Vonda was trash? Like, was that your real thought? Tika, you start.
I honestly, I didn't think she was trash because kids do that all the time. They run away. Like when we're out in the public place, your kids gonna go running off and you have to reel them back in. But sometimes you just be like, listen, I can see you. I got them in eye shot, distance. I'm not worried that anything is gonna happen. So unfortunately, this particular day, she just got off guard. She got off of her guard when she went to go check out that MJB new album. Or no, it was the OJ Simpson verdict. she stopped, and just like the rest of the world, literally stopped to see what the verdict was going to be. Like I was in, I'll say this, I was in the military in a cafeteria, and we literally like stopped eating just to hear what they were going to say. So I absolutely can relate to what it is that Vonda did in that moment. So unfortunately she ended up losing her child, and therefore of course the news is always going to make the mother look like the one that's in the wrong. They're gonna do that, because the mom, you're supposed to be watching your kids. But
Mhm.
she was just being a mom that day. I mean, she could have left him home with some random person, but she chose to bring him out, to the mall and everything with her. So I don't think she was a bad mom or anything. She was just being a mom that day.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely when we find out the entire story at the end. But I ain't gonna lie, in the beginning, I was like, dang, Miss Vonda, is that how she was living for real? Like, because we had the news perpetuate this story of what happened, and we don't know just yet what really happened because Miss Vonda haven't told us her side of it. But we do get they make you feel like we're about to meet this character that's not so great. So it was crazy to me. I know I thought it. Did anybody else think anything negative when they first met her at the beginning, Tamika or Candy?
At the very beginning, I didn't. It was like you don't know what to think. I'm just kind of waiting for them to flesh it out and show us a little bit more. I know she would be the first one that they're gonna question and kind of make it look lurky because at the end of the day, she's the mom. It is gonna go to the parents and the mom and the last person that was with him, and people do all kind of crazy stuff out here in this world. It made it a little bit more leery to me once, of course. Zaria gets the call. And then I was kind of like, well, wait a minute. And, then it started getting sketchy. But just right off the back, seeing the news story, even though they were saying everybody always thought she was involved, I was like, that don't necessarily mean, that she is. And also just to touch a little bit, like you said, she was traumatized by what happened in the club. I like the fact that Murder came over and was talking to her and telling her to censor herself and go to her safe place. And we seen flashes then too of her trying to find the safe space. Is it with her husband? Is it with her friend in the car? And a couple different places she went to, and it seemed like she was getting there for a minute, but then it was like, oh no, I couldn't find it. And him also saying he see a therapist, and she like, wait, you out here committing crimes and seeing therapist? And I was like, well, listen, I like that he gave her that advice, but then when the phone started ringing, she hurried up and told him to get the heck on out. But I did like that.
Absolutely. Danger is that character that you're like, okay, so yeah, he do some jacked up stuff. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
Danger.
saying?
I'm
He out here
sorry, I'm over
robbing.
here saying murder.
Are you fine? Yeah, he
We
do
all
some
knew the
jacked up
same
stuff.
thing.
He do some jacked up stuff, but he gives her some solid advice, and he's really there when she needs somebody. Like he literally came over there to be there for her and to really talk to her. He didn't have to, but he
Mhm.
did, and I really like this part because it showed a different depth to this
Yes.
character as well. That he's just like people are layers, and I think sometimes we get
Yes.
so far off from that we think people can only be one thing. You're this, you're that, you're a woman, you're black, you're this, like you're just one, you're a wife, that they don't realize, people don't tend to take the time to realize that people have so many different layers to them. Yes, he robbing houses, but do we even know why he robbing houses? Do we even know like what the underlying story is behind it? But it's still wrong, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's just that people have all these different layers to them, and sometimes you can't judge books by its covers. At the end of the day, it's how it all works. But yeah, so I really enjoyed that part as well. Anybody else have any other thoughts about Danger since we're on him or his character or
Yeah,
these silver dollar pancakes?
a little bit, yeah, definitely a little bit on Danger. But before I get into Danger, can I say I like the statement that she made as you can't take a black woman can't take a trauma shower because they're too busy worried about getting their hair wet. Like
Yes.
I love that statement. And then as far as the character Danger goes, I absolutely appreciate. I can never remember his name, his actual name, but I can
John
appreciate.
Chapin.
Yeah, thank you. Any role that he takes on, he definitely does an amazing job doing it. So with him being that quote unquote voice of reasoning to Daria, it's like Diarra is crazy to me because, like y'all said, you Robin, you seeing a therapist. How are you going to actually come and tell me that I'm wrong, but you doing the most wrong also? But then I like that she's willing to listen to that voice of reason because I think clearly she's known him long enough for him to be comfortable enough to come and tell her things, try to tell her right from wrong, and then she's known him long enough for her to actually listen. So I appreciated them giving her a thuggish voice of reasoning.
Yeah, it comes in
Absolutely.
all different packages, so it doesn't matter what they look like or who they are. If what they're saying makes sense and is right, then that's what it is. It doesn't matter. A lot of times it doesn't matter. What it says, a message, take the message, not the messenger, or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
But I want to speak on the mother's part. What's the name?
Vonda, Miss Vonda.
I think she looks like she could be. I want to say Claire Huxtable, but she could be her daughter for real, for real. Did y'all what y'all have her name, or was she on that picture that you put up at the first time, EJ? She wasn't on that picture, was she?
What are you
No.
talking about?
Diarra.
No, the Claire Huxtable's character, the young character. The one
Oh, no, I don't have hers. I just put
okay.
the
But
main ones in.
she's very beautiful, and she looks like she could be Felicia Rashad's daughter in real life. Like she has her features, like her nose, her facial structure. Like she looks like she could be her for real. But speaking on the part where like her son ran off or whatever happened, the 23 minutes. When you think about it, it is a long time, but you can get caught up in stuff. You can get caught up in life or whatever is happening at that time. And just because you think you see your child, doesn't mean you should just take your eyes off them. But 23 minutes is a long time. However, I didn't judge that part because, hey, I had some kids in Target last night and they was running amok in the palace. And I was like, okay, it's three of them. It's three different pants. Well, one of them was mine. The other two belonged to two other people. I was like, Lord, I can't let these children get lost. So I had to go find them. One of them was hung up in the doggone clothing rack. But anyway,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but that's with that
it's just
minutes. Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, Candy.
I'm just saying, things happen, so you really can't fully blame her. However, people will do it just because it's not their situation.
Yeah.
Facts.
But I think that 23 minutes that they keep counting, they don't include the fact that she actually ran to look for him. It was 23 minutes before she said something to somebody else. It
Yeah, well,
wasn't
yeah,
like 23 minutes that, she just didn't do nothing. She wasn't paying attention. It was her running, and we'll see that, of course, at the end, her running around trying to, find him, running outside of, the mall area, and then she sees what she sees. So of course, again, that's the whole media, the whole news situation, trying to make the mom to be out to be the bad one, the abusive one. So, but yeah,
yeah. As always, and she's
Absolutely.
black, so yeah, of course.
that part,
Absolutely.
especially that.
Absolutely. So just to go ahead and touch on that particular part of it, we do end up getting a full story since we've already talked about it, and then we'll travel back and talk about some of the other stuff that happens in between. But we do get a full story as to what went on, and we all know that the media has very much been known to perpetuate a lot of things and push off agendas that they want to push off, and sometimes things are left out that aren't aren't necessarily the full stories, but sometimes that's the only picture that people get, and that's the reason why a lot of people are thinking the way that they think. We're even going to see the character, I'm gonna call him Raj because I can't remember what his name was, but I just think when I see him I was like, there go Raj. But all of the stories that people have come up with about what happened and what she did, and somebody said he became a super ninja and all this. I was like, what in the world is going on with these stories? But the true story is that she never took her eyes off of her son at all. So this whole time, you got to think about the cameras that they had back then. They only have the camera angle that's on her, so it looks like she's sitting there all this time when her son is missing. But the thing is that it wasn't. Her son is sitting over here on the thing, and she's looking at him the entire time. She turns around for a few minutes to look at the OJ verdict like anybody would have done, turns back around, and he's gone. So I think this is what I think. I think that they're counting her sitting there eating, and it looks like she's just sitting there eating, and they don't see that she has a direct visual of her child this entire time,
That's
and
what
they're
I was
counting that.
wondering too. I was wondering if they was counting it like that and looking at the camera footage, or if they was actually going by how long it took her to tell somebody, and then how long it takes the daggone cops to get there. Because we know for certain situations too, the cops ain't coming, right away either. So I was like, are they counting all of that, or are they really specifically going by, when she first said something to somebody to when they got there and she was able to tell the report? They, of course, didn't specify that, but once you hear her explanation, it does make sense, and it does sound like something that can happen. I have definitely been where I have gotten lost as a daggone child. Thank God nothing worse than that happened. And I have turned my head, and my son done been down the street somewhere where I'm like, yeah. When he was real, so I know both ends of that. And I also can remember not only when the verdict came out and my mom and the whole place where she lived, you could hear everybody apartments yelling, to even watching when they were first doing the Bronco chase. So yeah, that's gonna distract you and have you like everybody. It did stop and did look when that story broke, like people were saying. So it makes sense, and just that fast is how things can happen, unfortunately. So when she looked again, he was gone. But of course, they got her like if she done sold him, or she had something to do with it, or she did something to him. I was like, oh Lord.
Absolutely. And you can tell that this was something that didn't really like once they zoned in on her, that was it. There was no further looking into it. And you can tell that. And all too many times, because we know this because, and just, just a little real life, because we know this because there are so many missing people that go missing all the time, and people write them off and they don't look for them, or you know what I'm saying, like they just stop, they automatically make their own judgments about it, and only certain people get looked for, depending on a lot of times race, status, and a lot of other things, factors kind of play into it. And I'm not saying that everywhere that's the case, but I'm saying that all too many times, especially in a lot of places, some inner cities and stuff like that, this is what you typically see. Sometimes these stories don't even make national news, whereas other stories will make national news, but you won't even hear about some of these other stories. But I ain't gonna go too far into that. I'm just saying it really irritates me, like that's like a pet peeve. But yeah, so because the way I saw it is that as soon as Vonda saw that she didn't see her son, she goes straight to the guy. Have you seen my son? She starts to look, and anytime people see somebody getting panicked like that, and she even is smart enough to see the door kind of closing to the point where she runs straight to that door. She's just a little too late. That ball is laying on the floor, so we know that somebody has ran off with her son that's in that car. So it was just a very sad story. But let's travel back and just talk about the day that went on when our girl decides she's going to really go down the rabbit hole. There's a moment in one of the episodes where she finds the shoe. She's going to go back to the apartment. She's going to, well, hold on. Well, she finds the shoe because you remember she had been talking to everybody and trying to figure out what was going on. She's going to find that shoe. So that was one thing. And that was back, I think, on episode 1, if I'm not mistaken, when she first goes to the police. But I think I forgot to talk about that. But what's more important is that her friend Moni decides, because this right here was one of those eye-opening moments about her and Moni. So her friend Moni is having a situation with her husband. I'm thinking that he chopping up cars or doing something. I don't know exactly, but whatever he's doing, it ain't legal. And so they're having a situation, and she needs to get money, and she sees that there's a reward for Deontay. So now she wants to believe, her friend, because she needs this money. And like, she's like, what if I believe you? So now they're kind of in this together of trying to figure out this mystery, so I thought that was pretty interesting as well. Tika, talk to us about as they go and find this one, they need to go find Miss Vonda. Talk to us about the day that's going on, some of the things that stood out when you first kind of meet this character and what's going on, and then Tamika, give your take, and Candy, give your take.
Okay, well, the moments that really stood out when they finally meet Miss Vonda is like, she's like, okay, just get in the van. Like no real whole conversation, like who you are, why should we get in this van with you? Girl, just do it. And then we see Miss Vonda riding around collecting TVs, going to pawn shops, like just collecting. She's setting what they call it a crackhead trap, or yeah, a crackhead trap. But on that crackhead trap, it includes a teddy bear. So I was like, what is up with her? Is she snatching up little ones? Like, what is really going on? So the whole conversation, the whole ride. Oh, I slept with all the Temptations, all of them. Not the new generation, but the old generation. Um, oh my God! And just heard this saying that each one of them had their different perspective qualities about each other. That definitely made me laugh. I'm always here for anything Felicia Rashad anyway, but they transformed her. She's not Claire Huxtable anymore for me. She's this lady that's just riding around, Miss Vonda, that's riding around in this van, going to different places, picking up these different little items. And then I was like, well, is she homeless? Is she living in the van? Like, what's really going on? So, that was my whole take on Miss Vonda, aka Felicia Rashad.
Oh Lord, this is too
Tamika,
funny.
what were your thoughts about what was going on with Miss Vonda and as they're taking this trip?
Yeah, Miss Wanda had me cracking the heck up. I said, no, they didn't. This definitely was a different spin for me for the characters that I've been used to. Felicia Rashad playing, she over here threatening, having the hip. And she was like, if y'all coming, come on. Like Tika said, she already gave the breakdown, stop and here, there. And I was kind of like, okay, so is she kidnapping kids? Well, damn, maybe she did do something to her son. And at one point, Moni was even like, did we just get kidnapped? Like they wasn't too sure what was happening. And she seemed like she knew what she was doing, like, but she didn't have time to be explaining nothing to you. Either you was gonna come along with her and get to, ask her whatever you want to ask her, or, do whatever you're trying to do as she's still handling her business. She was not gonna stop whatever her mission was. So I was just like, okay, this is different. I definitely was not expecting that. She had me cracking up with the Temptations and all that other stuff. She said somebody was using their toes, and Moni was like, what they was doing with their feet. Like, all of that had me cracking up.
I know that's right. Candy, let's talk about the
Oh,
part where
goodness.
Miss Vonda where we finally figure out what Miss Vonda is doing. Were you shocked by what she was actually doing? What were your thoughts about it?
Well, I wasn't shocked about what she was doing. The way she did it, yes, but I get it. You got to do whatever you can do. You're not the law. You got to do what you can do. I like the traps that they set. Not the traps, but the distractions with the fireworks, and they were able to sneak in, and they had McDonald's or something. She had some kind of food. She was able to distract them that way. She was able to just get in, get the little girl, and she had Diarra telling her. Diarra had got a whole back and not even doing what she needed to do with the bag. I guess she was afraid, but Miss Vonda was like, you know what? But she had did she throw a bottle at him or something? Whatever, she cracked him upside the head with it. She was like, let's go, we got to go. And she ended up taking this child to, her parents. But the beginning, the setup was just crazy. Like, she needed a fat back TV or something, a big back TV. I don't know. She was just crazy to me. It was just funny. I've been laughing the whole entire time with this lady, with Felicia Rashad. When she pressed on the gas, they falling. She's slamming on brakes. They moving, falling forward. She just had no care about the people in the back. It was like either you with me or you're not. Get in or get gone. I liked it. I enjoyed her part. I hope we get to see more of her throughout the rest of the series. I really
Absolutely. I love this part. I thought it was very interesting. I did think that they did a good job at kind of throwing us off on whether or not she's involved. I found myself saying, is she not? Is she? I kept going back and forth with the whole thing, especially when we get down to the phone part of it and we find the burner phone in there. And I'm like, oh my God, like, did she? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just keep going back and forth. You don't know which one to believe. But then when we finally get all of the answers and we find out that the reason why for the phone call was because somebody called her and all she did was call them back. and you're like, oh, okay. But they did such a well-rounded job of doing that. And when we hear about the entire story, which we already talked about what actually happened, you realize that, oh, okay, Miss Vonda just trying to do what she can to keep somebody else from hurting. And why do y'all think that Diarra didn't tell her that Deontay is most likely alive? Because Moni and Diarra found the biggest piece of evidence of all
Right.
inside of the oven. They found the backpack, they found his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that she didn't bring this up? Do you think she didn't want to give her false hope since
That's
he had
what
been
I think.
kidnapped?
Because the first time I watched this, I watched that third episode twice. The first time I was like, why didn't she say it? She was on the verge of saying it. It seemed like it was on the tip of her tongue. And then she stopped and she just was like, I'm sorry for your loss. But the second time I felt like she didn't want to give her false hope. I think she wanted to get more info and make sure and know that she have a leeway to get him back. And then, because I thought she was about to be like, girl, your son is alive. Okay, I've been with him. I saw him.
They were sitting I was sitting on his face. That
Right.
was so funny in that post office.
Yeah.
But I like the conversation. I like the way Diarra thinks back to conversations she's had, which helps her with clues. Like, he doesn't cook, he eats out all the time, and she went to the oven. Like, to me, that was very brilliant. Like, she pays attention to the
Yes.
smallest conversation. But that's not a
And
small
her and Moni
conversation.
was like, what are you missing something? She called her, then they start doing they dance. I like that part too.
Yes, she pays attention.
Absolutely, absolutely. And okay, so last but not least, because they were a part of this episode, I just want to talk about them real quick. We had Mr. T and Aja. It's Aja. Aja hanging out, and we know that Aja is very ambitious. She's trying to get I think she's trying to get the funding or something because she's trying to expand her brand, and she really needs an endorsement from this guy. And so we're going to meet some more characters. We're going to meet this other guy who might, well, we ain't even gonna talk about that, but we know that Mr. T was kind of feeling him, and then but he looks like he's feeling Aja, and so she gets her introduction or whatnot. But one of the most important parts I want to talk about is what we see on the newspaper when Mr. T is sitting there. There's an article about a hitman that was slain, and it happens to be, the guy that we ain't the Russian guy. So
Baloney.
now I got way more questions. Like, what is Deontay / Chris into? Why is there a hitman coming to see him? And for those of you, I didn't skip this part, but just in case you haven't seen it and you may be wondering why we were talking about the naked guy, he gets naked because he says he does his best work when, he's naked. So that's the reason why he was naked. But anyway, we see that there, and all that did was bring more questions to me. Like, why is there a hitman after Chris? Like, what has he gotten into all this time? Because remember, he's gone as a kid. And now he's an adult. So just so many questions there. Let's just go with some final thoughts, guys. I think we, for the most part, got most of the big things for all of the episodes. Tika, final thoughts on the entire show, cast, like just whatever you got to say about everything.
Okay. Well, again, I absolutely enjoyed Diarra from Detroit. I made a statement last week that I don't know nobody from Detroit like that. I don't mess with them like that because I don't know anybody from Detroit. But I'm learning, and everything that I'm watching seems to involve so many people that are from Detroit. So I'm absolutely feeling it. They brought the mannerisms that Detroitians have, that the words, the way they're speaking, like that whole language, that whole situation, the slang, I should say. They brought that out, so I enjoyed that moment. And I'm just gonna say, in my mind, because I watched a lot of movies where little children are snatched up and then they're either taught to be unalivers or they're trafficked. That's what happens when you watch stuff like Double Cross and all that other stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that they may have taught Deontay how to be a trained unaliver, and he probably didn't complete a certain mission, and now they're looking for him. That's just in my mind. I could always be wrong, but I'm definitely looking forward to. I don't want it to end. I'm grateful that they are giving us 4 episodes because or eight. I'm sorry, total 8 episodes. So I'm here for it. I'm waiting for the next episode. Definitely ready to check out the next episode and recap it. Also make sure you guys check out the after talks. If you have the BT Plus app, there is a moment. There's different like three different episodes or mini episodes. They're like 7 minutes long, where Diarra, the actual writer who stars Diarra in this movie, she talks about, there you go, she talks about the scenes and everything, talks about each character. So I thought I was grateful that they gave us a after show type vibe situation for Diarra for from Detroit, so that we can see what she was really thinking when she put those specific roles together, and the lines and everything. So yeah, I was here for it. Looking forward to the next episode.
Absolutely. Those after shows are great and they give a lot of insight into the characters. So much stuff I learned from those and just reading about it, about Diarra Kilpatrick herself, the actual actress and producer and creator, and then like really diving into the after shows and listening to all the different nuances that they were talking about. Just like, it's just interesting. You have to check those after shows out. They're so good. And I think that's what has really, really pulled me into it even more. So definitely check those out. They make a great point, Tika. Candy, what about yourself? Final thoughts on the television show, characters, just anything that you have that you need to say, ma'am.
I really enjoyed the first 3 episodes. I don't know why I thought episode 4 was on today, because it was like new episode. And I was like, ooh, episode 4. And I was like, I guess I didn't watch it on my phone, so it didn't clear out that it was not a new episode. But I tricked my own self when I got excited, because I was waiting to see like what else Vonda was getting ready to do. Her and Diarra,
Diarra, yeah.
Diarra was going to do, her and the other young lady. I did enjoy I love old school cars. I like when they went and took the car, because I'm a fan of old school vehicles. I think it was a SS Chevy, some kind of, I think it was SS. But I enjoyed that part of it. I hope we get to see her riding around in that vehicle a little bit more. Um, I enjoyed the show. It was really good. Like I said, I was looking for the 4th episode, and I guess I'll be looking forward to that this Thursday night, or Thursday night,
Thursday
morning. Yeah, it was a good episode. I like it. I like it so far. So good.
Absolutely. So yes, everybody, the show comes out on Thursday. So definitely check that out on Thursdays. It's a streaming app, y'all. So I believe they upload them at some time in the morning. Sometimes they can be different. So you never really know, but it's Thursday.
Yeah,
So if you get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, it'll be there for sure.
Definitely be there. Yes, Darius and Chevelle. Thank you.
So, oh yeah, girl, because I don't know the cars. I couldn't help you out with them.
Yeah, but I think it was
sorry. But I did love when they took that
Yeah.
car, and I did love that really tender moment where they bring us back together with Moni and her friend, and how it focuses on the moments that they had when they were young, because we saw so many times where you could tell that these two characters have history. So I'm sorry that we didn't get to talk about that a whole lot more, just so much going on. But Tamika, final thoughts, and same thing I asked them.
Yeah, I'm definitely here for this. I can't wait for episode 4. I can't wait to see how the rest of the season is gonna play out. I agree with Tika. I definitely think that Deontay, aka Chris, had to have went through God knows what in these years that he's been away. Who knows what he's been exposed to, what they've been teaching him, what they trying to get him to do or have had him do during this time. I guess we're gonna probably eventually learn more about that. So we don't know what impact this has had on him all this time that he's been away, and that's going to be interesting. And I definitely want to know if we're going to see, Vonda again, and we're going to get to see the reconnection between them, or, not. She going to still be having to wait around and think, that her son is just gone, and still be out here trying to save these other kids because she couldn't save him. So, and how everything is going to work out with Zaria. Like, I'm definitely here for this.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I have a question. So, what do you all think would be the reason to bring, not that he ever left Detroit, but to bring him back and have him out in the public? Like, did he run away? and then they called him and brought him back. Like, what? Why are you back where you were taken from?
That's what we gotta find out. Like, does
Okay.
he have some lapse in memory, or does he have his memory? But they sent him here to do a job, and maybe they feel like you over here bull crapping, and you were supposed to be doing this. That's what make it intriguing because we gotta find out.
Yeah, so maybe
Because
that's
there's
what the
so many
hitman is
questions.
for.
You say that again, Candy? I'm
I said
sorry.
maybe that's what the hitman is for because he was supposed to go do something, like Tamika says, and didn't fulfill his
Possibly.
duty.
Possibly
Yeah,
he could have
I'm
ran away from,
Right,
like,
it could
you know what
be.
I'm saying? Like he could have supposed to maybe been doing a job and he didn't do the job, and so he comes back to a familiar place. Clearly, he's holding on to these belongings because he's trying to hold on to these memories. And everybody. I mean, not everybody has the same relationships with their mom, but clearly, this is probably has a lot to do with trying to get back to his mom. Is what I think.
Yeah, and who
That
knows if they even brainwashed him and said your mother didn't want you. You know, these people do all kind of crazy things. So
absolutely.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's so many things I think that we could speculate that it is, and I think that's the beauty of a murder mystery, which is kind of what I would entitle this as, is definitely a murder mystery because we know that there's somebody murdered at the because we saw it in the beginning. And then we have this whole mystery of going down this rabbit hole, trying to figure out exactly what's going on, what's happening, who the heck, why the heck. So I'm loving it. I can't wait to see what's going to go down on the next episode. Definitely adding another Thursday show on. They love Thursday shows.
Right.
But so I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to come back and talk with you ladies as we find out more information. Like I said, the format of this makes you want to keep watching because you know you're going to get answers, and you're not going to be waiting for these answers for seasons and seasons and seasons. So I'm all in with it. Tika Deshawn, my girl, what do you have going on your channel? What's next for you?
Okay, so I created an additional channel. It's called Tika's Wind Down. Basically where we go through, or we kind of like just talk about grief and how we move through grief and grieving, and again, I'll reiterate that grief is not just grief or by the loss of a family member or a loved one. It's also the loss of a relationship, the loss of, a job, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that people actually grieve. And so on this additional channel that I have, Tika's Wind Down, I will be doing just a little painting. It was supposed to be a paint and sip, but because your girl had to take a little allergy medicine tonight, I can't sip, but I will still paint. So tonight, right after this, I'll go in and do my paint situation on Tika's Wind Down. Then of course on all things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts, we're definitely going to come through with the Ruthless Roundtable, your number one source for Ruthless exclusives. That's going to be Wednesday, 8:15 p.m. Hopefully we'll have a guest. I don't know. I'm working on it, but hopefully we'll have a guest. Maybe, maybe somebody could come through. But that's some of what I have going on, as well as I will be starting my series recap on the Dirty D. I'm trying to get to know these Detroit people so I can see what's really going on. So that's about it. That's what your girl Tika has going on. Thank you, EJ, for inviting me. As always, it is a pleasure.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. And hopefully we will see you next Thursday as well so we can follow up with this. Candy Love. Hey boo.
Yes,
We saw you on
ma'am.
live earlier today. That was so great. You doing so good. I'm
Yes.
so proud of you.
Thank you.
What you got going on your channel?
I'm trying to find the next series or next movie for me to watch and recap solo or with someone or whatever with a group. I hadn't found it yet. My husband has been watching a lot of stuff on Netflix, so I'm trying to see if I can, piggyback off what he's watched and get into it because he doesn't really watch stuff binge watch, but the last couple things been on Netflix he's been watching, so I'm gonna see what he's been watching and maybe I can tap into that and then do my own little recap or whatnot. I'm not sure. I'll figure something out because I got to keep the momentum going because I was real busy in the month of February, but March has been really lax for me. My little girl, she needed my attention, so I had to kind of calm down a little bit in March. But
No problem. Shit.
so, but I'm gonna try to do whatever I can, once or twice a week or on the weekends, I'm full throttle on the weekend. So I'm gonna see what I can pop up on Saturday or either next Sunday. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, if you have not looked at Blood and Water is one of my favorite shows on Netflix. So definitely check that one out. I wanted to do something on it. So, if you're interested in that or if, you want to take a look at that one, see if there's something you want to do, holla at your girl. I love Blood and Water. That's a good one.
I'll take a look at it.
Miss Tamika, the busiest woman I know on YouTube. What you got going on?
Well, surprisingly, I'm not busy right now. I'm actually taking much needed self care time to just get some things in order and, take care of myself and spend some time with my family. It's been a little crazy right now. However, I will be rocking with the girls when the girls is on. We'll have ladies' night, we'll have our BMF review, and I believe Sunday is Throwback Sunday, and we're gonna be doing Foxy Brown. The only thing I'm doing right now on my channel is BMF, but later on, I'll be back busy. But I just got to get some things in order now. So yeah, I'm here but not here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we know when you get back in there, you're gonna be going because that's what you do. Yeah, so as far as my channel is concerned, of course, we're going to continue to talk about Diarra from Detroit. Loving this series so far. Of course, I'm going to be with my crew, the Ruthless Roundtable. You know how we do, home of the exclusives. You know what I'm saying? And then my ladies, those are my girls. We're going to be talking about BMF. And we also have our movie night. So if you guys have not looked at Kimba, this Thursday is going to be my night to host movie night. So we're going to be looking at Kimba and talking about Kimba. I'm really excited about that one. This was a good story, a cautionary tale. So definitely check it out so you can join us. And then let's see, what else do I have? I might be doing some other videos. I just don't know exactly what they're going to be just yet, but just, stay on the lookout for it. Other than that, that is it, ladies. It was so fun having you guys on here tonight, talking with y'all. We trying out this new vertical view. So, we're going to have to do it again. Anyway, y'all, let me say what's up to the chat. Lemon Kush Pepper, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Good night to you as well. Dairy B came through. We had Daria always showing love. Latoya came through. Matt came through. One Journey came through. Let's see. My Sweet Perspective came through. Smooth Attraction came through. We appreciate all of you guys. Monique came through. Monique 60. I think Monique 16. Didn't it's Monique 60? Yeah, 69 Ways came through. And Momo, our regular Momo, came through as well. Renee Beckham came through. We appreciate you. Inga always showing love. Miss Inga Binga. So I just want to thank everybody that came through, even the people that didn't get a chance to say anything, but your presence was definitely here. Queen came through. We appreciate all of you. And we are about to get up out of here, guys, and we will check you guys out on the next one. Peace.